Sometimes, life hands you an empty plate. It sits there, white and clean, a space where something should be. Maybe it's a space where food should be, or money or opportunity. When you look at that emptiness, a fire starts inside you. It's a quiet fire at first, a small ember of need. This is the beginning of survival. It's the simple, powerful urge to fill what is empty, to find what is missing. The hunger for more isn't greed. It is the most basic human instinct. It is the engine that pushes us out of bed on a cold morning. It is the reason a farmer plants a seed in the hard ground, hoping for a harvest that is not yet promised. We learn the true value of things only when they are gone. A person who has always had a full pantry does not understand the miracle of a single loaf of bread. But for someone who has known hunger, that loaf is everything. It is a gift. It is a reason for gratitude. Scarcity teaches us this profound lesson. The absence of love makes us cherish every kind word, every gentle touch. The lack of chances makes us seize the one opportunity we are given with both hands, holding on tightly, unwilling to let it slip away. We learn to see the immense wealth in small things, the things others might overlook in their rush. This drive to fill the void is not just about surviving until the next day. It is about dreaming of a better tomorrow. A child who shares a small room with his entire family doesn't just dream of a bigger room. He dreams of a house. He dreams of a world where his own children will have space to play and grow. Scarcity plants the seeds of ambition. It forces us to look beyond our immediate circumstances and imagine a different reality. These dreams are not fantasies. They are blueprints for a future we are determined to build, brick by painful brick, with hope as our only guide. Consider the immigrant who arrives in a new country with nothing but the clothes on his back and a few dollars in his pocket. He does not see the closed doors. He sees the cracks of light underneath them. He works 2 jobs, maybe 3. He learns a new language at night. He saves every penny. Why? He is not just trying to survive. He is trying to build a legacy. He is driven by the memory of what he left behind and the promise of what he can create. The emptiness he started with becomes the canvas for his greatest masterpiece, a new life, filled with the very things he once lacked. When life is quiet, you can hear things you would otherwise miss. I'm not talking about a peaceful quiet. I'm talking about the silence of absence, the silence of a phone that doesn't ring, the silence in a home where laughter used to be. This kind of emptiness creates an echo. In that echo, you begin to hear your own thoughts more clearly. You start to ask the big questions. Why am I here? What is this all for? The lack of something, be it companionship, purpose, or comfort, forces us to look inward. We begin a search not just for what is missing outside, but for what is missing inside. This internal journey is where true hope is born. It is not a loud, flashy hope. It is a quiet, resilient hope that grows in the dark. When you have nothing to lose. And when you have nothing to lose, you become free to imagine anything. A young artist with no money for paint might use mud and berries to create her art. A writer with no publisher might share his stories with a small circle of friends. This is not desperation. This is innovation, born from necessity. The mind, unburdened by the clutter of abundance, becomes a fertile ground for new ideas and possibilities. Think about the stories we tell. So many of them are about a hero who starts with nothing, a poor boy who becomes a king, an orphan who finds a family. We are drawn to these stories because they reflect a deep truth about the human spirit. We understand that the journey from scarcity to abundance is the greatest adventure of all. It is a journey of transformation. The struggle is not just a backdrop to the story. It is the force that shapes the hero, that makes him worthy of the prize he seeks. Our own lives follow this same narrative arc when we face our own moments of lack. This search for more is, at its heart, a search for meaning. We want our lives to count for something. When we are stripped of our material possessions, our job titles, and our social status, what is left? We are left with our character, our relationships, and our faith. Scarcity has a way of clarifying what truly matters. It separates the essential from the trivial. It reminds us that our worth is not measured by what we have, but by who we are when we have nothing. And in that realization, we find a profound and unshakable sense of purpose. There comes a point in every hard journey when you realize you cannot walk it alone. You have pushed, you have strived, you have used every ounce of your own strength, and still the mountain looms before you. The plate is still empty, the silence is still deafening. It is in this moment of ultimate vulnerability that many people do something they may have never done before. They look up, they reach out to a power greater than themselves. They knock on heaven's door not with arrogance, but with the humility of a weary traveler seeking shelter from the storm. Faith is not always found in grand cathedrals or on sunny days. More often, it is found in the foxholes of life. It is discovered in a hospital waiting room, in the quiet desperation of an empty wallet, in the lonely hours after a devastating loss. When human solutions fail, we begin to search for a divine one. This turn to God is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of profound wisdom. It is the recognition that our own understanding is limited, that our own power is finite. It is an act of surrender, but not of defeat. It is surrendering the illusion that we are in complete control. Trusting in God provides a hope that circumstances cannot touch. The world can take away your job, your home, your health, but it cannot take away your faith. This faith becomes an anchor in the turbulent sea of life. It gives you a reason to believe that your suffering has a purpose, that your story is part of a much larger divine plan. It whispers to you in the darkest nights that you are not forgotten, that you are loved, and that this trial too shall pass. This belief doesn't magically solve all your problems, but it changes how you face them. It replaces fear with courage and despair with peace. This connection to the divine gives us strength that is not our own. It is the strength to forgive those who have wronged us, the strength to get up one more time after being knocked down, the strength to share our last piece of bread with a neighbor who is also hungry. Faith transforms our perspective. We stop seeing our scarcity as a curse and begin to see it as a classroom. We are students, and God is the teacher. The lesson? That we are more resilient than we ever imagined, and that true wealth lies not in what we accumulate, but in our relationship with our Creator. Hardship has a strange way of bringing people together. When a flood devastates a town, neighbors who were once strangers work side by side, pulling one another from the wreckage. They share food, shelter, and stories. In their shared loss, they find a shared humanity. The scarcity of safety and security breaks down the walls we build around ourselves. We are reminded that we are all connected, that we need each other. This sense of community becomes a powerful force for survival and rebuilding. We are stronger together than we could ever be apart. These moments of collective struggle also spark incredible creativity. When old systems fail, we are forced to invent new ones. When resources are scarce, we learn to be resourceful. Communities facing food shortages might start a community garden. A family with little money might learn to repair things instead of replacing them. Scarcity is the mother of invention. It pushes us beyond our comfort zones and forces us to think differently. The solutions born from these difficult times are often more sustainable, more compassionate, and more resilient than the ones they replace. We see this pattern throughout history. Great art, music, and literature have often emerged from periods of great suffering. The human spirit, when pressed, does not just endure, it creates. It sings its most beautiful songs in the darkest of nights. This creative impulse is a testament to our innate desire to find meaning and beauty, even in pain. It is a way of declaring that even though we may be surrounded by scarcity, our inner world remains a place of infinite abundance. We can build worlds with words, paint joy with colors, and compose hope with notes. In the end, scarcity is not just about pain and loss. It is a divine journey of growth. It is the chisel that strips away the non-essential parts of us, revealing the strong, resilient core beneath. It teaches us to value what truly matters, to dream bigger than our circumstances, and to innovate when faced with limitations. Most importantly, it often leads us to a deeper, more meaningful faith in God, the ultimate source of our strength and hope. The empty spaces in our lives are not meant to break us. They are invitations from God to grow, to connect, and to discover the boundless riches of the human spirit. They are the fertile ground where the seeds of tomorrow are planted.